This is the Calgary Real Estate Market update for May 2021. As always, we deep dive into the stats every single month to help you understand the sales, inventory, and pricing. If you're a home buyer or seller, you don't want to miss this. If you want to keep up to date on everything real estate from our team at LiveInnerCity, your favorite Calgary realtors, show us some love by subbing to our channel. Now let's do this. First, let's talk about sales. To say the Calgary real estate market has been hot is an understatement. We have continued our momentum from May 2020 all the way until now, and it continues to build. Last month was the best-selling April in the history of the Calgary Real Estate Board. A total of 3,209 homes were sold. Check out this graph that shows April sales for the last 15 years, and we surpassed the boom of 2005 to 2007 and even the peak of 2013 and 2014. Among ever-changing economic situations and COVID-19 lockdowns, our market has completely recovered and have performed well above pre-pandemic levels. Now take a look at this graph showing sales per week. The blue line represents the same time last year when we were in the beginning of our first lockdown. We were only selling around 125 homes per week. The red line here represents this April, and we are in the range of 750 homes per week. That's a 600% increase in sales. A few factors that are driving this buyer demand: low mortgage rates and a proposed review of stricter stress tests is set for June 1st. The vaccine rollout with higher availability and more people getting their vaccinations, this is providing more confidence in Alberta's recovering economy. Another evidence of this is the unemployment rate, and at the peak it was at 11.3%, which has now fallen to 9.1%. And Felix and I have been talking about the increased migration to Calgary from other cities that have now become unaffordable. And these are not just home buyers, they are also investors who are looking to make their mark in a relatively inexpensive Calgary market compared to cities like Vancouver or Toronto. Now take a look at this chart that shows sales per day. And you see that towards the end of April, sales did slow down slightly. And on this table, it shows that different price ranges performed differently. While all price ranges were doing well when compared to April 2020, there were many price ranges in the high-end luxury home segment, shown in green, that have over 1,000% growth. We saw the biggest growth in the 850K to 900K range with a whopping 3,800% sales growth. Inventory. We started April with a total of about 5,400 homes on the market, which is about 7.5% less total inventory than last year. And by the end of the month, we had a total of almost 6,100 homes, which was an inventory of 7.5% more than last year. In terms of listings per week, in the first half of April, we were averaging about 168 new listings hitting the market, and by the beginning of May, we were around 134 homes. Inventory levels were different for each property type. Detached homes had 1.5% more, row townhomes had 10% more, with semi-detached we saw a 12% increase and 33% more for apartments. You might be asking yourself, what does this all mean, Jazz? We are not currently in a low inventory situation. As you saw, our total inventory actually increased throughout April. An important concept to understand here is that our current seller's market is actually being driven by increased buyer demand. Pricing. With the increased demand for homes comes with an increase in benchmark prices, and citywide we saw a year-over-year 9% increase. To give you some perspective, this price level is very similar to where April 2015 was, which was just shy of the peak in 2014. And across Calgary, we saw benchmark price gains, but we need to drill down into the different quadrants of the city to better understand what's going on. And from this chart, you can tell that the suburbs had more gains than the inner city. And to dive even a bit deeper, each property segment also saw increases, but at varying levels. Detached homes were up 11%, row townhomes increased by 6%, semi-detached homes saw an uptick of 8%, and finally apartments saw gains of 4%. You've probably already heard stories of people selling their homes for well over list price, but is this true? Take a look at this chart that shows the sales to list price ratio for different price ranges. On average, the 400K to 800K homes are selling for pretty much list price, while ones lower or higher than this range are much softer. Alright, I just threw a ton of stats at you, and normally we would end this segment with advice for buyers and sellers, but instead we believe it would be more valuable for you to summarize everything and tie in sales, inventory, and price and what it means as a whole so you can understand the bigger picture. To wrap things up, there are two metrics we can analyze, and the first is sales to new listing ratio. And by the end of April, there were 74% homes sold versus new listings coming to market. So 3 out of 4 new listings were being sold. Even with the record sales volume, this indicates the market is not overheated and remains healthy. The second metrics to tie things together is the months of supply, or how many months at the current sales pace it will take to absorb all the existing inventory. We started and ended the month around 1.9 months, even with the higher than normal number of sales happening. This also points to a strong and healthy market and pace, and there's no evidence of a real estate bubble forming. It may seem that things are overheated, but it's really in comparison to the last 7 years of a much slower Calgary real estate market outlook. Well, that's it. We hope that you found a ton of value in our channel here at LiveInnerCity, and we appreciate you for following us on our journey. We have huge plans coming, so be sure to stay tuned. I'm Jasben Lai, and it is my pleasure to serve you. We'll see you next time.